What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Out here in the shop early this morning trying to get a start on the trailer before it gets too hot. I've got the lights on the other side and the back already wired up. I'm working on this side here, putting the new clearance lights in. And again, I mentioned in one of the other videos I added a couple. I added this one here, and then I added this one here. So what I have to do is, the way the factory run their wire, they came straight across from the other side. The main harness comes down the other side, comes straight across to here, and they just grounded the light right here in the frame with a rivet. I don't have any rivets because I didn't think to get any. So all I'm doing is this one up here in the front, I'm just going to cut the wire. That's what I did on the other side, and splice into it right here where they got this wire tap, Scotch light, wire tap, whatever you call it. I'll cut that out and solder in a piece of wire and run right down the top of this right here to come out here. That light will plug in. This one here was just a plug and play deal, and then this one back here will have to be fed off of this one back here, which I've already run my wire to there because the old wires was pretty much junk. This is the mess that was in the back there that I cut out and had to rewire that. So I'm just going to make another wire here and run up here to plug in to that. Show you the back here that I got done. The license plate light and everything on there. And I'm just using this 14 gauge red wire right here. I'll show you what I'm doing, how I'm doing that in just a second. And I had to order another soldering gun. I'll throw this in here. For those of you who might be looking for a soldering gun, this is what was recommended on Amazon, one of the top sellers, this Weller 260, 200 watt. And the 260 is actually on the first stage, I believe. It's a two-stage trigger. So you got click and another click, and you can tell by the little light bulbs here, those are not LEDs, those are actually screw-in light bulbs, the brightness of it. But this had the best reviews. There was some negative reviews. Some people say they don't last that long. I don't know, so I just got it. I've been using it, and I've soldered some pretty good sized wire with it, and it seems to work pretty decently. All this stuff's made in China now. You know how that goes. Seems like even the best stuff you buy is still junk, but anyway, it comes with a couple of tips and a little piece of solder, and it ain't enough to really do anything with. And this cute little case here, and it has a little cardboard cover in here when you buy it that I took out. Anyway, if I think about it, I'll put an affiliate link in the description for anybody interested. They can go check it out. I ordered this heat shrink tubing from eTrailer.com. 1/8 inch, 3/16 and 1/4 inch. I found this and electrical tape. Sometimes you can't use heat shrink tubing depending on how you got wires coming into it. It just doesn't work, and just got to use electrical tape. But I would much rather have a connection made with electrical tape, a soldered connection with electrical tape on it, than I had any of these stupid wire taps, Scotch locks, all that stuff, because they corrode and they lose connection inside. And as far as I'm concerned, if it's soldered and you got tape on it, pretty good connection. If you got heat shrink on it, even better. But like I say, there's some situations you can't really get the heat shrink on there, depending on what you're working on, what you're working with. But I'll set you guys up over here, and we'll wire up a clearance light here. I'll show you what I'm doing here. All right, so what I'm doing is I want to run 2 pieces of wire here that's long enough to go from this light here back up the other direction. And I have to run it this way instead of from the front backwards because there's nowhere to hang the wire over the wheel well like there is here. Put that wire there, and then I'm going to make another one here the same length as that one. Alright, now that we got the wires, 2 wires cut here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in this drill. If I turn the drill truck the right way. Anyways. Need a longer arm. I got my biceps over here. I'll clamp this wire on the side of the trailer here somewhere. I could take it out of the drill chuck and spin it from the other end, but either way. Anyway, now we got a wire that's twisted together, as you see here, and make it easier to run and a lot cleaner looking. You can buy a wire that's 2-strand, like 14 gauge electric brake wire, same thing. I just don't have any on hand. This is what I picked up, so this is what I'm doing it with. Or you can drill and put a rivet and ground your light through the trailer frame. That works too. But as I say, you don't have those either, so this is what I'm going with. You have to run 1 wire anyway, and it's just about as simple to run 2 wires as it is to run 1 wire when you do it this way. So I'm just going to go down through here like this and up and above. Get my hand through here. So I just ran this wire, come down through here like this, and went up under the dovetail bars. And then I come over one right here, back up under, and then over one right here and back up under. And then I'll put like a zip tie on this right here that'll keep this wire from walking over and getting in the middle of the bars here and getting run over and cut. So all I got to do now is solder up this one here, because again I've got the wires coming across the back here, so I have to solder this on and solder a pigtail for the light, and then solder a pigtail for the light, push it in, And that'll be both of those clearance lights there wired. And then all I have is to do the same thing on the front up here. And that'll be all the lighting on the clearance lights. So the way I generally do this is I just take this 6-inch long piece of heat shrink, cut it in about 3 pieces, so 2 inches piece. Depending on what you're doing, you cut them longer, shorter, whatever. And then cut your pigtail off, strip the wire back. Slide your heat shrink on here. This is the 1/8 inch. This is the smallest heat shrink I got here. I'm not sure if it's going to be big enough for this, because I used a different heat shrink on the other side. We'll see. And cut me off a piece of solder here. It's easier to hold a short piece of solder like this than it is to hold the whole roll. And let's see if she gets hot pretty quick here. Those lights on the end of here definitely help out, especially when I was wiring up under the trailer down there. They've got one soldering gun that is one size bigger than this. I think it goes to 300 watt. I really didn't see the need and all that. Alright guys, we're going to change the tip out on this soldering gun here, because the way I'm doing this, the tip that I have on there is more of a pointed tip. If you can put it up against something and push on it, I'm going to put this wide one here on there so I can put it behind it and let the wire lay across it so it gets some heat in that wire. Probably work a lot better than that right there. All right, let's try again here. Get that flat plate tip behind there. We can do a little bit better. Oh yeah. Look at that. It'll take but a few seconds. Much, much better. Just a little bit longer here. A little more wrap on it. Alrighty, and we'll see if this heat shrink's big enough to slide up on there. Just barely, if it is. Now all we got to do is plug the wire in here to the light. I probably need to wait to see, because when I wire this down here, I don't know which one of these is going to be hot or ground. Being the size of the LED, it does matter. If you plug it one way, it'll work. If you plug it the other way, it won't. So I'm going to do the other one, and then we'll get them both plugged up here. Alright guys, I'm using the 3/16 heat shrink on this here, and I've got my heat shrink already slid on the pigtail here. And then I'm just going to twist these here together. And these here together. Like that, and then the heat shrink come off there, and we will put this here on there. And I'm not worried about these wire colors here not being correct or whatever, because none of the other wire colors on the trailer is either, so it doesn't really. Not really going to affect anything. Do that like that, and then there's a piece of solder I had. There it is. Let's see. That connection is two 14 gauge wires along with, I think these are probably 18 gauge wires here off of this little pigtail that I'm soldering right here. It takes just a minute to heat that up. You can get just a little bit of solder on that tip to start transferring the heat on the bottom side. It'll get hot a little better and start wicking it in there. Alright, done deal. You're going to let that cool just a second so that when you slide the heat shrink up on there, that it does not the heat off the wire doesn't shrink the heat shrink before you get it all the way in position. Bend over the little sharp point right there on the wire so the heat shrink will slide up on there just a touch better. Let me go turn the lights on here and we'll see what we got. We got a rubber grommet put on here. And hey, look at there, first time. And we'll just push the wires back a little bit. And then when I'm done, I will get up under there and zip tie the wires here in place, because I know there'll be just a little bit of slack right there. And then we'll do the same thing right here. Except this will be an orange light right here. And I just got lucky on both of those, but you see, you plug it up that way, it doesn't work. Turn around that way and it does. That's because LEDs, it does matter. But anyway, they'll go in there either way, as long as you're not too concerned with the actual wire color, which, as I say, nothing on this trailer, the wire colors doesn't seem to mean anything. They just use all different kinds. So anyways, that's all there is to the clearance lights. I've got to do the ones on the front now. We got both of them going. I got all the ones on the other side going. We got all the ones on the back going. So finish up the other 3 up here. Right here, I'm gonna go ahead and install them, and then I'll be back with y'all. All right, guys, I want to show you why I do not like these wire taps here, the Scotch lights, or Scotch locks. Can't talk today again. See that flickering when I wiggle the wire? And you know LEDs does not use very much voltage. But when I wiggle the wire, you can see how it blinks. So anyway, they use those things on the brake circuit too. That's something else that we're going to address in another video. But just want to show you guys why I do not like them. I'm going to cut this out and solder and heat shrink that connection as well. And probably this one too here, and tie it into here. And be done with the clearance lights. Alright guys, so I'm in the middle of wiring up some lights here, some loading lights. I ordered these here off of Amazon, and I'll give you your best guess to where they're made at. And they come in a package of 4 the way I ordered them, because it makes more financial sense the way they're priced to buy a package of 4 than it does just 2. And I figure it would give me 2 spares, because again, I'll let you guess where they're made at. And so if one of them goes bad, I can swap them out. So it's just a matter of drilling 2 5/16 holes right here, one for the bolt and one for the wire. And I want it to be tilted down a little bit and tilted out a little bit. I think that'll give me the best beam shot angle here to kind of the side of the trailer for when you're chaining down and whatnot. And also it'll work as a backup light. And I'm going to wire them on a switch on my auxiliary power wire here, so that I can hop out of the truck and turn them on if need to. And if I'm backing in somewhere, can't really see. But I think these LED clearance lights will, and the brake lights when backing up, usually give you enough. On my big truck, I can usually make out pretty decent just by the LED clearance lights, kind of where I'm at. But sometimes, certain situations, you do need a little bit more light. And you could definitely use some light when you go to strapping down, chaining down, that sort of stuff. See where you're hooking to and whatnot. So I thought it'd be a little extra deal there. I wanted to throw these on there. If I remember, I'll throw an affiliate link, Amazon affiliate link in the description. I'm in the process of working on the other side over here. I've got the holes drilled, and I'm gonna run the wire somewhere through here and tie them together. And I've got to figure out where I want to mount my switch at. I'm not sure yet, but I've got the clearance lights and everything over here I was working on. I got all that done. So back up so you can see over here. I'll try to take a picture of this thing at night, a video of this thing at night too when I get done, or at least one clip in a video, so you can see what it's looking like. But it's just got a little bracket there, nothing to it. I thought about before I painted this thing, when I was doing it, to make like a little cage to come out and protect these things, but it's inside of that I-beam, and I really don't foresee getting that close to anything to hit it and knock it off, so I really didn't bother. And I mean, it would have been nice to come out and do that, I guess, but I don't know. For the price of those lights, if you knock one off, it's not the end of the world. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get these wired up, and then we'll check it out, see what they look like. All right, guys, I got everything kind of wired up here. And this is an example of what I was talking about when you can't always use heat shrink. It'd be kind of difficult to do right here the way I did this without cutting those wires in half. I just trimmed the insulation off, wrapped the wires and soldered it to it. So I'll put some tape on this, tape it up good. But that was the easiest spot for me to be able to tap for power and ground right there, is in that main harness. And I just drilled a hole here, run this wire across over the top to that light over there, back through, and come out, tied it in here. And this switch here is one I had on hand. It's not a waterproof switch. It may or may not last very long, I'm not sure. But anyway, up is on, down is off. Bring you around here if we can see. You can see right there. Get a little better look at what it looks like there. So I think them's going to work out pretty well. Those are 48 watts a piece. I don't think I could put more than two. I don't know what the circuitry on the truck is rated at, but usually I'm thinking maybe 15 amps or something is what most of them. So if you do 48 times 2 lights, put you 96 watts, divide that by the voltage. I don't think I could put more than 2 of those on there. But anyway, I still have 2 spares, and I think that's going to work out pretty good. Let me turn the shop lights out here, and we'll get a better idea maybe of what it kind of looks like in here. Still going to be some daylight from outside coming in, but I think you can tell the difference there. I will get a little bit better video of it at nighttime when it's slam dark, and we can tell exactly what everything's going to look like. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I'm done with all the light wiring and everything. The other thing I've got to do is put the I've got a new breakaway box to put on, and then I'm going to do a video on a trailer brake upgrade and show you some other stuff I'm going to do to help make these brakes, electric brakes, work better if you've got a trailer with electric brakes on it. This is a good way to make them work better. You may already know this trick, but anyway, I'll show it in another video because I'm going to be upgrading that and taking care of the other problems they got going on there. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.